Hey guys, Mixed Media Girl here. In this video, I am doing a dirty resin pour vase and bowl set. Please watch until the very end of the video to see both projects and to learn everything about making this project. So I'm using Mixed Media Girl Artist Resin, and for this project, I'm going to use about 12 ounces, and that is dependent upon the mold that you're using. This is a round agate edge mold that's a little bit over 13 inches across. And so for this project, I use about 12 ounces. If you're using a different size mold, you might need more or less resin. It just depends. And the colors that I'm using are Alumilite white resin dye, the Rhondaqua resin paste, which is that turquoisey color, and then a couple of mica powders. I've got Polycolor, copper, and gold. Now the dye and the resin paste are very opaque, and that's important when doing this project. If you only use transparent colors like the micas, your vase will come out very transparent. So if you want it to have some opacity and some bright, bold colors, make sure that you use some opaque colors. I recommend white personally. I cleaned my vase with some isopropyl alcohol, and then I set it upside down on a plastic cup in the middle of my mold. And then I put some clear resin on just to kind of get it going and add a few more ounces of resin. And then I'm pouring my colors over it. So doing this as a dirty resin pour, it is going to blend the colors a lot more than if you did the colors individually. However, it's going to give you this really gorgeous marbled look. So definitely don't get married to the design at this point. It's going to change a lot as it goes down the vase. And once you've poured it on the vase, I recommend just letting it sit for probably about 5 minutes or so. You can take your torch and very, very lightly torch it or lightly heat gun it. Don't overdo this or you'll cause too much resin to run off your vase. So just really lightly go over it. Don't overdo it. Then continue to let it sit. And you should see a point where it basically really slows down on the dripping. Obviously, you don't want to let it sit for like 30 minutes or something, but a good 5 to 10 minutes is typically okay. And you can see it filling out the mold there, and it's really slowed down on the dripping, and the vase has changed a lot. That is going to happen with this technique. If you don't like it being a little more blended, then I don't recommend doing the dirty resin pour technique. So once it's slowed down on the dripping, I gently lift it up from the cup and move it off to the side. I then took a heat gun and lightly heat gunned inside my mold, and that's just to get rid of any other air bubbles, and it helps it to close up as well. And once it's closed up and you've gotten rid of your air bubbles, you just are going to let it sit. Now, how long you let it sit depends on the resin you're using, as well as the temperature of your workspace. So I let it sit for around 6 hours, but yours might be a little shorter or a little longer. I'm in Los Angeles, California. It's generally pretty warm here. So I know people in other places sometimes need to wait 8 hours. So you just want to wait until it is not sticky. It could be very slightly tacky, but recommended that it's not sticky or tacky, and it should be very flexible. And then I put it into a plastic bowl. This plastic bowl is about 100 ounces. I got it from Bed Bath & Beyond. You can get a plastic bowl off of Amazon or even the dollar store or really anywhere. Just look for something that's around 100 ounces. Should be around 11, 12 inches at the top, depending on what you want, and then mold it into there. I like to put a silicone mat in and something to weigh it down. So usually a bottle of resin, and then let it sit overnight. Then gently pull up on the sides and it should pop right out. You can use a mold release if you want. I don't personally, but if you'd like to, go ahead. And then here is how they look complete. So I think this is just gorgeous. I really love the pattern on the vase. Obviously it's fairly blended, but I love it. And I do leave these drips at the top because I like them as part of the design, but if you want, you can always sand them off. And then on the bowl, I put the side that I like facing up. You're welcome to do it either direction. Someone asked me, why do you put the prettier side facing down? And I'm like, well, that's just your opinion. I prefer the side that's on the inside, and that's just my preference. But here you go. It is gorgeous. So I really hope that you guys like this project. Please let me know down in the comments if you have any questions, and I will see you all next time.